Based inquiry work in your classroom? Well, first, let's figure out what is problem-based inquiry. Basically, you and your students will evaluate questions through analytical research to solve a real-world problem. It all starts with a question. So first, with your students, you'll present an essential question for your lesson. For example, how does disease impact people in Central Africa? Students will begin by reviewing an essential question that will guide their research in an area of study. All they have to do is just ask. Think of it this way. In older teaching methodologies, teachers are often viewed as a lecturer, standing at the front of the classroom, writing on a board. Well, instead, think of yourself as the grand facilitator of your students' learning. You will guide your students as they work with inquiry groups to investigate and analyze an essential question. As your students have been investigating and analyzing information, soon it will be time to synthesize what their findings have been, and they will create a product of their learning. Underneath your facilitation and care, students will work in inquiry groups to synthesize their research. What this means is that they will decipher what their research means, and then you will help them to create a product to showcase their learning. This often includes a visual aid and perhaps a multimedia product of their learning. Students will take control of their own learning and will decide what presentation style will best tell the story of their learning as they prepare to share their research with you and their peers. Student inquiry groups will prepare for their sharing session as they have produced a product that will best share their findings with you and the class. During this time, you, as well as your students, will provide pertinent feedback to the presenting groups that will aid them in their upcoming reflection and revision process. Students will each be given individual reflection time based upon peer and teacher feedback. It's during this time that students will be able to reflect on their individual performance as well as their work as a team in their inquiry groups. Students will be able to revise their work with their group prior to posting their final product on the class website. So, how can problem-based inquiry work in your classroom? It all starts with a question, followed by investigation and analysis. Students will synthesize their information and create a product to then share with their classmates, followed by reflection and revision. Problem-based inquiry can start and work in your classroom today. All you have to do is ask.